Everyone in Maplewood Park froze when she yelled, "You don't belong here!" It was the kind of voice that sliced through calm mornings like a siren. The voice belonged to Karen Foster, president of the Maplewood HOA, self-declared guardian of neighborhood standards. The target of her outrage? A gray-haired man sitting quietly on a park bench, feeding a stray dog from a paper bag. His clothes were worn, his hands rough, and beside him rested a small backpack, all he owned. Karen stormed toward him, her heels clicking on the pavement. "You can't just camp out here. This park is for residents, not drifters," she spat. The man looked up slowly. His eyes were gentle but tired. "I'm not camping, ma'am. Just sitting." "Oh, really?" Karen folded her arms. "I manage this community. If you don't live here, you need to move along. People pay good money to keep this place clean." Nearby, joggers paused. A mother pulled her kid closer. No one spoke. They'd seen Karen's temper before, but something about this moment felt different. The man quietly stood. He wasn't defensive or angry, just calm. "I used to live around here," he said softly. "A long time ago." Karen rolled her eyes. "Sure you did. And I'm the mayor. Now go before I call security." A teenage boy filming the scene whispered to his friend, "She's really doing this again?" Karen noticed the phone and snapped, "Stop recording! This is private property!" But it wasn't. Maplewood Park was public land, and soon the video would spread far beyond her control. The man reached down to pick up a small folded flag that had fallen from his bag. Karen noticed it but didn't care. She turned away, muttering something about lazy freeloaders. As the man walked off, the wind caught the flag, unfolding it just enough for everyone to see. A U.S. military flag, carefully folded in the shape of honor. For the first time, the crowd began to murmur. "Wait," one woman said, "is that a veteran's flag?" Karen's face went pale, but it was too late. Her words had already been recorded, and the truth about who she'd just humiliated was about to change everything. By the next morning, Maplewood Park wasn't just a park anymore. It was viral. The video of Karen yelling at the homeless man had exploded across social media overnight. Millions watched as the self-proclaimed HOA queen berated a man who, by all appearances, had done nothing wrong. The clip ended with that haunting image, the folded military flag slipping from his bag. The caption read, "HOA president insults homeless veteran. America, what happened to respect?" At first, Karen didn't even know she was trending. She woke up to dozens of missed calls, angry texts, and her HOA group chat filled with screenshots. "What is this?" she barked, scrolling through the comments. "Disgusting behavior. Fire her from HOA immediately. How dare she talk to a veteran like that?" Her face turned red as she slammed the phone down. "This is all fake news. I didn't know he was a veteran." But the damage was done. People weren't buying her excuses. News channels replayed the clip on loop, and online sleuths were already searching for the man she'd humiliated. Meanwhile, that man, his name was Jack Turner, had disappeared from the park. No one knew where he went, but his story began surfacing in fragments. A few old neighbors remembered him. "Jack? Yeah, he lived here years ago," said one. "Served in the Marines. Lost his wife, then his home." The more people learned, the angrier they got. Comments poured in. "We owe him better. Find Jack Turner. Karen should apologize publicly." Karen tried to defend herself in a live stream. She wore her best blazer, forced a smile, and said, "This is all a misunderstanding. I support veterans. I just didn't recognize him." But even as she spoke, angry emojis flooded the screen. Someone commented, "Maybe try recognizing people as humans, Karen." Behind the scenes, the HOA board held an emergency meeting. Sponsors withdrew from neighborhood events. Even her closest allies distanced themselves. For the first time, Karen wasn't the one in control. She sat in her spotless kitchen, the sound of her phone pinging with new notifications, each one a reminder of the mess she created. Meanwhile, a local news crew made a public appeal. "If anyone knows the whereabouts of Jack Turner, please contact us. We'd like to share his story." Karen muttered to herself, "He's not going to talk, right?" But she was wrong. Jack Turner was about to come back, not for revenge, but with a truth that would humble the entire neighborhood. 2 days after the video went viral, a local reporter finally found him. Jack Turner, sitting quietly on a bench outside the old Maplewood Community Center. He looked surprised when the camera crew approached, holding out a microphone. "Mr. Turner, people across the country want to know your story. Can we talk?" He hesitated, then gave a small nod. His voice, calm and steady, carried a weight of history. "I'm not looking for attention," he began. "But if it helps people understand, maybe it's worth saying." Jack's story unfolded like a movie the world had forgotten to watch. He grew up right there in Maplewood, in a little blue house that once stood 2 blocks from the park. Joined the Marines at 18, served 22 years, and earned medals for courage most people only read about. When I came back, he said quietly, my wife Anna was sick. Cancer. The bills. They took everything. When she passed, I lost more than a home. He looked down at the flag beside him. This was hers. She made me promise to carry it wherever I go. The reporter asked gently. And you've been living without a home since then? Jack smiled faintly. I've got a country full of homes, just not one with my name on it. I do odd jobs when I can. Sometimes I just like sitting at that park. It reminds me of better days. When that interview aired, it hit everyone hard, including Karen. She watched the footage from her living room, clutching a cup of coffee that had gone cold. Every word from Jack felt like a stone dropped into her chest. For the first time, she saw him, not as a nuisance, but as a man who'd given more for the community than she ever had. The next morning, flowers and cards began appearing at the park bench where Jack had sat. Notes read, "Thank you for your service. We're sorry. You deserve better." Karen stood there, sunglasses hiding her swollen eyes. No one spoke to her, not yet, but she knew what she had to do. That night, she opened her laptop and began typing. A public apology. But this time, not scripted, not polished, just real. I was wrong, she wrote. I judged a man by what I saw, not who he was. And for that, I'm truly sorry. The next day, she went to find Jack. What happened next would stun everyone and rewrite the neighborhood story forever. The sun was barely up when Karen Foster walked back to Maplewood Park, the same park where everything had started. Her heart raced as she clutched a folded letter and a small box in her hands. For once, the woman known for her arrogance looked human. Jack Turner was there, sitting quietly on his favorite bench, the same stray dog curled beside him. He looked up as she approached, cautious but calm. Karen hesitated, then said softly, Mr. Turner, I came to say I'm sorry. Jack nodded politely but didn't speak. She continued, her voice trembling. I was cruel. I spoke without thinking, and I judged you without knowing who you are. That video? I deserved every bit of what came from it. She handed him the letter. This is a written apology, but it doesn't say enough, so I wanted to do something more. From the box, she pulled out a set of keys, shiny, new, with a small tag that read, Welcome home. I worked with the HOA board, she said, her eyes watering. We raised money, and one of the residents donated an old property we restored. It's yours, Mr. Turner. No rent, no conditions. Just a home. For a long moment, Jack didn't move. He stared at the keys, then at her, trying to understand if this was real. Why? He asked softly. Karen took a deep breath. Because I forgot what this community was supposed to mean. You reminded us. Tears rolled down her cheeks as nearby residents began to gather, drawn by the sight. Someone started filming again. But this time, it wasn't for mockery. It was history. Jack stood slowly, the flag still in his hand. He looked at the crowd, then back at Karen. Thank you, he said. Not just for this house, but for changing hearts. He extended his hand. For a second, Karen froze, then took it. A small round of applause broke out. The same park that once echoed with anger now filled with quiet pride. In the following days, the video of Karen's apology went viral too, but in a very different way. News anchors called it a story of redemption. Veterans, organizations reached out to honor Jack. The community began volunteer drives to help other struggling veterans. And Karen? She stepped down as HOA president, but not in disgrace, in growth. She now led the Maplewood Cares initiative, ensuring no one in their neighborhood was ever left unseen again. Jack's words during a local interview summed it all up. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, but sometimes it gives it a purpose. If this story touched your heart, make sure to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real-life stories that open eyes and change hearts.